got you losing control. You're like a drug to me, a luxury, my sugar is gold. I want you to laugh every night, you're a hard to hold. But you don't need to know. I can make your hands clap. Said I can make your hands clap. Somebody save your soul, cause you've been sitting in the city. I know too many troubles, always got you losing control. You're like a drug to me, a luxury, my sugar is gold. Want your attention, your affection, my holding my clothes. Cause you don't need to know. I can make your hands clap. Said I can make your hands clap. Every night when the stars come out, am I the only living soul around? Need to believe that you can hold me down, cause I'm in need of something good right now. We could be screaming till the sun comes out, and when we wake we be the only sound. Get on my knees and say a prayer, James Brown, cause I can make your hands clap. I can make your hands clap. Just searching for your wisdom, best you'll never deny. You're like a stranger, give me danger, all your wrongs and your rights. Take me from Broadway to the freeway, all the time for the crime. No conviction, that's a fact, and all these haters are blind. You don't even know, I can make your hands clap. I said I can make your hands clap. Every night when the stars come out, am I the only living soul around? Need to believe that you can hold me down, cause I'm in need of something good right now. We could be screaming till the sun comes out, and when we wake we be the only sound. Get on my knees and say a prayer, James Brown, cause I can make your hands clap. I can make your hands clap. You know that I can make your hands clap. You know I can make your hands clap. You know I can make your hands clap. I can make your hands clap.
This next one features soloists from all over the sections, ladies and men, and we hope you enjoy it. This is actually, we're toying around with this being like our alumni song. This is the song we've been singing. This is the first song we learned as an ensemble back when we were at the combined barbershop house. It's a little tune called Home.
Oh, did we get the... Hey, I know you. What's up, man? That's good. That's what you do right there now. Hey, how are you? Formerly Matt.
Thank you. Okay. This next song is one of the numbers that we did at Dayton, Ohio this year at the ICHSA quarterfinals, and again at semifinals at Bowling Green. And it features the soloist Carlisle Hall, who was able to join us today because softball got rained out. So Carlisle, we're glad you're here. And this next song is called Love on Top.
Honey, honey, I can see the stars all the way. Here can you see the glow on the window pane, and I can feel the sun whenever you're here. And every time you touch me, I just melt away. Everybody's asking why I'm smiling out for me to it, but I know, oh well, nothing's perfect, but it's worth it after fighting through molested. Finally put me first on. It was you, you're the one I love, you're the one I need, you're the only one I see. Come on, baby, you're true, you're the one that gives your all. You're the one I can always call when I need you, make everything stop. Finally, put my love on top. Hey, put my love on top, 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 top. Put my love on top, baby, baby. I can feel the wind whipping past my face as we dance the night away. Your lips taste like the night of champagne. As I kiss you again, 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 again. Everybody's asking why I'm smiling out for me to live. But I know, oh well, nothing's perfect, but it's worth it after fighting through molested. Finally put me first, baby, you're too. You're the one I love, you're the one I need, you're the only one I see. You're the one that gives her all. You're the one I always call when I need to make everything stop. Finally, put my love on top. You put my love, you put my love on top. Hey, baby. You're the one I love. You're the one I need. Always call. Stop.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more song for you today. We're really glad to be here, really happy to be here. So, again, thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure being here, and our last song is called Ghost.
Going to the river to pray, 'cause I need something that can wash off pain, and at most I'm sleeping all these demons away. But your ghost,
This is your choice.
and ghost of you, it keeps me awake.
Something that can wash off the pain that knows I'm sleeping all these demons away. But your ghost, the ghost of you, it keeps me awake. I keep going to the river to pray, 'cause I need something that can wash off the pain that knows I'm sleeping all these demons away. But your ghost, the ghost of you, it keeps me awake.
Be strong enough to go. Turn around and you finish. 'Cause I'll let you under my skin. 'Cause I love living in the sin. Girl, you never told me. True love was a desire. True love was a love. Truth is that I never learned. I keep going to pray. 'Cause I need something that can wash off the pain. And I know I'm sleeping all these demons away. It goes to me, it keeps me awake.
Going to the river to pray, 'cause I need something that can wash all the pain and I know I'm sleeping all these demons away. And the ghost of you, it keeps me awake.
Give up the ghost.
Give up the ghost.
Give up the ghost.
Stop the haunting, baby.
You okay over there?
Give up the ghost.
Give up the ghost.
Something like this.
Stop the haunting, baby.
But I'm going to pull that every place they go.
I keep
Going to the river. I keep
going to the river to pray. 'Cause I need something that can wash all the pain.
I know I'm sleeping all these demons away. But your ghost, the ghost of you, it keeps me awake.
I'm afraid to take a night.
To the river to pray, 'cause I need
But they're good.
something that can wash all the pain that knows I'm sleeping all these demons away. But your ghost, the ghost of you, it keeps me awake.
So good evening once again, and welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. I'm Susan Carver. I'm the president of the Heights Schools Foundation, formerly known as the Alumni Foundation. I'd like to especially thank the inductees that are present tonight to accept their honor, along with their family and friends who have accompanied them. Also, I'd like to acknowledge all the other alumni that are gathered here this evening, and they are here to celebrate with you, as well as the Heights Schools Foundation Board of Trustee members and officials, as well as our wonderful elected Cleveland Heights, University Heights Board of Education members, and our current and past Cleveland Heights University Heights staff, and all of the friends of our schools. The Cleveland Heights High School Distinguished Hall of Fame is entering its 37th year, and it has inducted over 350 members. The Hall of Fame was created as a way for Heights High to acknowledge and honor the accomplishments of its alumni. And it also gives then the current students the opportunity to embrace solid examples of individuals to show them what they have accomplished in life. And these same adults have walked the same halls and sat in the same seats as you do now. We have over 55,000 graduates from Cleveland Heights High School. And that's a breadth of experience that our students who are the image makers who do the selection of the inductees. It's quite an impressive and diverse list. And these students select inductees from nominations made from the general public. Oftentimes the inductees don't even know who nominated them. I overheard one of them ask, well, who nominated me? To go back and look into the files to find that out. And oftentimes it's more than one person. There are many. The students, the image makers, do not know the names of the inductees, only their accomplishments. So thank you to this year's image makers who are here tonight. And we're going to ask for another round of applause because I am to name them, and then I'd ask you to stand. So we have Eric Adeyaman and Anya Chu and Krista Cobb. Turn around and show them your beautiful faces. Paris Colbert, Angelique Hale, and Benjamin Schuster. And they're under the guidance of the staff advisor, Haitham Razul. Haitham, there you go. Thank you again, image makers. So we're making changes at the foundation. You've known us as the Alumni Association and the Alumni Foundation in the past. Well, we have a new name, the Heights Schools Foundation. And we have expanded our mission. You can imagine with Heights Alumni and Heights Alumni Association, we focus primarily on alumni. Now with the Heights Schools Foundation and that expanded mission, we are going to be providing resources to enhance and enrich the educational experiences of all of the students in the district K through 12. And that's in partnership with our alumni and our wonderful broader community. So we are grateful to the Heights Schools Foundation current trustees during this transition. If you could please be stand and recognized, our Heights trustees for the Heights Schools Foundation. Thank you. And if you've also served on the Heights Alumni Association or the Heights Alumni Foundation, please stand and be recognized. I know there's several of you here this evening. Sherry? You didn't want to stand? All right. We would not be here today without your past service. Now, we are also working with an outstanding, unbelievably fabulous new executive director of the Heights Schools Foundation, Juliana Johnston Centuria from the class of '87. She is remarkable. She came on board in September, and I've worked with her, I believe, weekly for the last couple of months. We meet at Dewey's at Shaker Square at 7:15 in the morning on Wednesdays or Thursdays to talk about all that we have done and what we plan to do. And Juliana comes with a wealth of experience in organization, in development, which is fabulous. She crosses T's, dots I's, is exceedingly creative, has a vision. It is so exciting to work with her. We are in store for great things with the Heights Schools Foundation because of Juliana. And she organized this lovely event this evening. Thank you, Juliana. So, because of the work before us through Eric Silverman and the past trustees, we are already off to a great start. We are going to be awarding, $15,000 in scholarships to graduating seniors in just a couple of weeks, thanks to generous alumni. And as well, we've just made our first round of what we call opportunity grants. And those were given at the recent pancake breakfast in April. They were given to each of the schools, our elementary and middle, and that was to be used for needs that aren't necessarily in their budget. They're for birthday books for young adults, for young students, or they are also incentives for good behavior for the older students and other uses. It was $500 each, those opportunity grants. Another accomplishment this year is the foundation gave $100,000 to the district in order to help renovate our wonderful clock tower, which is the pride of all the alumni and the community. And we have completed the first phase of the successful brick paver campaign, a memory campaign, that has raised over $40,000. And this was an opportunity that alumni and friends were able to have a chance to say thank you to someone at Heights, or to remember a loved one, or to celebrate their memory of Heights. Many of the classes donated, individuals donated, groups and donated, families. It's going to be a wonderful installation that will happen this summer. We did save the engraved pavers from the previous campaigns. They will be there as well. And although the deadline was extended days than weeks due to Juliana's wonderful generosity of time and commitment, at one point she had to put a stop to it because it was so popular. Despite the texts, the emails, the phone calls, the smoke signals, she said no. So we're going to have another wonderful installation, another wonderful campaign come fall. Now, and they'll be installed in the front of the building facing Cedar. Lastly, best for last, we have a wonderful new publication coming out that is absolutely extraordinary. It is entitled The Heights Magazine, a publication for Tiger Nation. And it will be delivered to mailboxes across the country in hard copy. It is 24 full color pages of a magazine. It's exquisite. It's so exciting. You'll be so proud when you read it. And it also will be sent electronically. And this is honoring and recognizing the accomplishments of our alumni and current students, and it serves both the needs of the Heights Schools Foundation alumni and the school district. So I'm sure you can't wait to see it. It's absolutely wonderful. So I have the honor of introducing Dr. Talisa Dixon. She is our Cleveland Heights University Heights Superintendent, and without her vision and support, it would be very difficult to be standing here today before you celebrating the successes already of the Heights Schools Foundation. Dr. Dixon has dedicated her professional career to helping students from all walks of life to learn, grow, and excel to the best of their abilities. She is widely recognized as an educational leader and an innovator, and she has that coupled with numerous academic credentials, and she has extensive real-world educational experience. She currently serves on the Cleveland Metro American Health Association Board of Directors and on the governing board and executive committee for the Minority Student Achievement Network, of which Cleveland Heights, University Heights, is a founding district. Dr. Dixon came to us 3 years ago in July of 2014. Since taking over as superintendent, Dr. Dixon has launched numerous initiatives and efforts, all designed to better align the district practices with the needs and expectations of the community. Now, I have to tell you, I'm in education. Right now I'm in higher education, but I primarily have been in the last 40 years in K through 12. And I have numerous colleagues who work in the district. And every time I touch base with them, I say, all right, so for the past 40 years, you've experienced several different superintendents. So how's this one? So how's that one? So how's this one? How's she doing? How's he doing? And for the first time in 4 decades, when I ask those 8 individuals from all walks, staff, elementary, high school, so how's the superintendent this time? Every single one of them have something positive and only positive things to say. So it is with a great honor that I have introduced Dr. Talisa Dixon. She's here to speak with you now.
Okay, thank you and good evening. To the Heights Foundation, thank you again for your partnership on this program and the support of our district. By working together to expand the work of our former Alumni Foundation to create the Heights Schools Foundation, over the last year we've found so many opportunities for partnership. The need for support of our district community partners have never been greater. This has been critical. This has been a critical time for our school district and a time for us to define the success of our schools for years to come. We're months away from the completion of our Heights School renovation project. The high school is scheduled to open on time in August. August 21st is our first day of school. And it would give Cleveland Heights School District in this community one of the finest buildings in the area. So I know if you've driven by it to see it, it's absolutely a fabulous state-of-the-art building. And then following that, we will, after our August move, we will start our middle school facilities, master facilities plan. And perhaps the most important thing that's happened recently is the passage of our operating levy on the ballot last fall. The community showed that they believed in the district and our staff, and especially our students, when they passed this levy. Community members could have easily said no and chosen to turn down the levy, but instead they gave us a resounding yes and said, we believe in our students, we believe in public education, and we believe in reshaping the face of our school district. And we thank you. And in my thank you letter, I stated that we must continue to earn the support and trust of our community and strive towards our goal of academic excellence for each and every student. And I truly believe this statement. We work every day to earn the trust of this district, and we will make every effort to be a valuable partner and resource for the Cleveland Heights, University Heights community. So I congratulate each of the distinguished alumni tonight and all the Hall of Fame inductees. I know it's a great honor to have you here. We're proud of your accomplishments and that inspire each of our students every day. And for our students to be able to see this and witness this, that is something that I believe that will stay with them. And hopefully we will see in some years to come, all of you would be distinguished alumni members. So we invite you to join us on September 10th for our community open house of the new Heights High School, and to celebrate together the accomplishments of the community, to see the state-of-the-art building that our students would learn in and be excited to go in next year, and just to celebrate education and show how important public education is to our students and to our community. So congratulations and thank you.
Hello. My name is Erica Damon, and it's an honor to introduce two of the most inspirational, noteworthy, and diligent alumni from the Cleveland Heights tonight at this ceremony. I hope you see the work that these women have promoted, and I hope it motivates you to join them, as it has I. This woman is one I personally admire, and in my humble opinion, am unworthy to introduce, Anita Bradley. As a senior in high school, I've seen countless numbers of my classmates, friends, and my close friends succumb to substance abuse. Oftentimes, they are incapable of recognizing their addiction issues. Anita has devoted her life to helping the youth recognize and overcome their addiction problems one step at a time. She has started and supported countless of grassroots programs, some of which include AA meetings in the Northeast Ohio area, and the Northern Ohio Recovery Association, peer-to-peer, which enhances recovery long and short-term outcomes. In adolescents IOP, it helps 12 to 18-year-olds with substance abuse. I just want to clarify something. She didn't just create these programs. She created these 3 and 6 others and then ran them for the greater Northeast Ohio area. She is involved in community programs, including Cleveland UMAOP, for selfish efforts of women working and volunteering in substance abuse fields, member of the Ohio Association for Family-Based Services, Parenting Assistance at St. Vincent Charity Hospital, serves as a registration chairperson at the AA Annual Women's Luncheon, and then went on to serve as the program chairwoman for the following year. I'm gonna be frank, this woman doesn't play. So without further ado, I'm delighted to have the honor to introduce one of the most dignified women in Cleveland Heights history. I hope I am capable of joining you on this stage one day. Anita Bradley.
Thank you for the acknowledgement and for the introduction, and it's always difficult to get in front of people and speak because I'm not a talker, I'm a doer. And so I am honored to be a part of the distinguished alumni of Cleveland Heights High School What I love most about Cleveland Heights is that I grew up in a time where there was such diversity in the community. There were people from different economic classes. I can look at the borderline and see, you know, what we consider the lower, the middle, the upper class. There's all kinds of income levels. There's all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds and all kinds of religions, and it prepared me for the world. You know, I tell people I can go from the block to the White House and it doesn't matter to me because I can interface with anyone, and having the experience that I have with personal addiction, I can talk to President Obama and his staff, and I can also talk to the guy on the block who's selling the drugs, and I can talk to the pharmaceutical companies that are putting drugs out in our community, and they don't understand that you can be prescribed a opiate, and that opiate can turn into an addiction for people. We're losing people. We need our health care. We need addiction treatment programs, services around. And I'm just so grateful to be that voice that says, I made it. You know, I made it through that difficult time, and I try to tell people and individuals that are working with their family members that have problems with addiction that don't give up on them, because that day that you help them may be the day that they go from being out in the streets to a person that goes back and gets sober, pays taxes, give back, and turn their life around just like I did. So I am such honored that my coworkers, my sister, daughter, and Cassandra, who works for the city of Cleveland, who's fighting a very difficult battle, as we all know, you know, just with the violence and all those things tie into addiction. I understand that, and so if we do our education and we support the work for mental health and addiction that I do, we can save so many lives and we can bring so many families back. And when you save a family member, a mother or a father, you're saving generations to come. So thank you again, God bless, and thank you so much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Benjamin Schuster, and I am a senior at Heights High this year, and I'm also the president of the National Honor Society. In the fall, I will be attending the University of Michigan. It is my honor tonight to introduce you to Dr. Dale Cohen, as he is one of the few distinguished alumni recognized by Cleveland Heights for his excellence tonight. I would like to thank Dr. Cohen for responding to my grueling questions about his personal life, and for the opportunity to know more about another member of the Heights community. Dr. Cohen attended both Fairfax Elementary School and Roxborough Junior High. His favorite memory of Heights is the collegiality that existed among him and his classmates. He recalled a very supportive environment. He graduated high school in 1955. Following high school, Cohen attended Harvard College to study biochemical sciences, graduating cum laude in 1959. Later, he received his MD from Harvard Medical School in 1963 and his JD from Case Western Reserve University's School of Law in 1981. That's an incredible commitment to higher education. When I asked him about his initial interest in studying science and medicine, Dr. Cohen told me he didn't really know, but that it was a field that always intrigued him as a young man. In fact, he really had no idea what being a doctor entailed. Today, however, I'm sure he knows quite a bit of information about it, as he practiced both hematology and medical oncology. Dr. Cohen is now retired. Something that is unique about Dr. Cohen is that he integrated two distinct fields, law and medicine. He did this to promote more useful, user-friendly policies affecting the practice of medicine by educating lawyers and legislators about the nuances of patient care and how the organization of medical practice could facilitate improvements in patient care. Being a doctor first, Cohen understood that legislators, few of whom had any background in science or medicine, often drafted unhelpful and counterproductive laws and regulations that affected the work of those in the health field. He wished to learn more about the process and gained a law degree as a result. When asked about the achievements of which he is most proud, Dr. Cohen responded that the first was his organization of preferred provider organizations, including the education of physicians about their merits as well as how they should function. The second is his organization of a network of community-based cancer centers under the aegis of the Cleveland Clinic so that patients receiving treatment for cancer could receive it in their neighborhoods rather than travel to a central facility. Two very admirable achievements. In addition, he has been recognized by several awards and organizations, both regionally and nationally. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Dale Cohen.
Well, thank you very much. That was a very lovely and generous introduction, and I only wish my parents were here to have heard it. They would have been very proud. I am restrained to say that since you're going to the University of Michigan, you should be aware of several things. I have a father, brother, and daughter who went to the University of Michigan, and two stepdaughters who went to Ohio State University. It's a very interesting time. And I'm particularly honored by this award, by this recognition, in particular because, first of all, when I graduated from Heights High School, I was never given a computer or a cell phone. I don't know why, but I never did. Secondly, in light of what has happened now, and particularly in medicine, but in all fields, I never took typing. And that was one of the biggest omissions in my training. Whoever thought that it would be that in order to practice medicine, one would have to be able to type 80 words a minute. Third, I never took home economics. Big mistake, because not a day goes by, or at least not a week goes by, that my wife doesn't remind me that I don't do any cooking. Be that as it may, I should say that the training that we had at Heights was absolutely remarkable, and I don't think it could have been any better anywhere else, and I certainly did not feel at all disadvantaged with all the private school graduates with whom I worked with and lived with in college. In particular, one of the things that stands out in my mind was the experience in band and orchestra with John Farinacci. And a couple of years ago, as a matter of fact, all of us who played under Dr. Farinacci were invited to have an alumni band at Heights, which was the first time I had an opportunity to walk into the Heights in many, many years. But it was remarkable because we had people from the classes, I think, going back to at least 51 when John came, to I think 63 or 62 when he left. And there we all were playing like we had never stopped. And it was just an absolutely remarkable and memorable experience. The other thing was the fact that we had an English teacher, Miss Malin. And Miss Malin never allowed boys to come to school in jeans and never allowed women to come to school in anything other than a dress. And this might seem almost quaint by today's standards, but it did teach us the business of self-respect. And I think there is something to say for that, particularly in this environment that we have now. I've had the fortune of being in medicine. I said I'm retired. Well, I flunked retirement 3 times. But, so I still see patients a few days a month. But the fact is that when I entered a medical practice, and I never planned to be an oncologist. I was started as a hematologist. Oncology didn't exist as a field of work for those who weren't surgeons or radiation therapists. But what I have seen during my life is a remarkable improvement in the science of medicine and what we can do for patients. When I started out, every patient I saw with breast cancer had stage 4 breast cancer and was destined to die from it. Now, it's relatively uncommon to see people die. They do, but fortunately, well over 80 or 90% of the patients are early stage, and even with lung cancer now, we can do things that we never dreamed of being able to do. So what has happened over the last 50 years, 60 years, has been a remarkable increase in improvement in our understanding of disease, in our understanding of the biology of the body, and the and our ability to do something with this information. What is of some concern is the fact that the healthcare system that we've heard so much about is not keeping up with the scientific advances. And now we find that things are being, arrangements or decisions are being made that will unhappily disadvantage a lot of people, particularly elderly, and particularly those who are of lower economic condition. So if there's anything, I think that the message for the young people now is don't let it happen. Speak up, contact your congressmen and your senators, and by golly, let's keep the good things that we have and avoid backsliding, which is all too easy to happen. I want to again thank the committee, thank everybody for this real honor. It is a very special honor, and I am grateful for it. Thank you.
Today.
Good evening again. Tonight it is also my distinct honor to introduce you to Mrs. Barbara Deming as a Cleveland Heights Alumni Hall of Fame inductee. I'd like to thank her for her candid responses and for the many things she has done for her various communities through social work. Even though she is not here with us tonight, she is honored to be recognized. Mrs. Deming attended Canterbury Elementary School, Wiley Junior High, and Cleveland Heights High School, graduating in 1964. Following graduation, she attended The Ohio State University, where she got her BA in psychology and graduated in 1968, Phi Beta Kappa sum cum laude. After Ohio State, she attended the University of Wisconsin and graduated in 1971 with a Master's of Science in Clinical Psychology. When I asked Mrs. Deming why she first got interested in mental health and psychology, she replied, "I just thought, well, psychology is interesting. Why not major in that?" So she joined the Los Angeles County Mental Health Department and rose to the top of the department designed to protect the rights of people with mental health conditions in just a few years after graduating. There she wrote legislation to safeguard and advance the rights of those afflicted with mental illnesses. After 24 years in that position, Mrs. Deming decided to turn a page in her career. During her brief respite from her profession, she realized she was a verb, not a noun. She again entered the field of mental health and began volunteering at local programs like Junior Blind of America and Partnership Scholars Program. Her proudest achievement is her long-term relationship with Mark Lurie, who just so happens to be a Hall of Famer himself. This year was their 50-year anniversary, and she couldn't be happier. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing Mrs. Barbara Deming. And she's not here, so.
That's a good news. Could I pretend I'm not here?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Krista Cobb. I'm a senior this year at Hikes, and I plan on attending John Carroll University in the fall. It is a pleasure to introduce this, It is a pleasure to introduce this next Hall of Fame nominee, Anthony Oden. Currently, Oden is the cornerback coach for the Detroit Lions, where he began his mark by developing the Lions cornerback into one of the most versatile units in the NFL. In 2015. Oden graduated class of 1991 and proceeded to continue his career and began his collegiate athletic career at Baldwin Wallace University, where he received his Bachelor of Arts. As a Yellow Jacket, he became captain his senior year and received recognition, All-American recognition, and co-defensive MVP honors. Shortly after, in 1996, Oden began creating a vast resume for himself by building his coaching experience and rising in his career. Oden has coached at 4 colleges, including Millersville University of Pennsylvania, Boston College, Eastern Carolina University, and Eastern Michigan University. In addition, he has coached for 5 NFL football teams, including the Houston Texans, the New Orleans Saints, who won Super Bowl 44 during his duration as assistant secondary coach, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course, the Detroit Lions. Anthony Oden demonstrated demonstrates how athletic commitment can translate into leadership. Anthony Oden's accomplishments are all extremely profound, and he still has so much to accomplish in his career. And ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Mr. Anthony Tony Oden to the stage.
First thing I'll say is, if you ever need an internship after that introduction, you got one, wherever I am. All right. In fact, I was thinking I don't get a captive audience that often, so I was writing down some notes. So you have to pull these out. There may be a long list here that I had on my mind. I do have a lot of thoughts, but you guys don't want to hear me talk. So I'm definitely honored to be up here. Flattered, humbled. I feel a sense of duty to be up here amongst you guys, my peers. I'm honored to be with all these other inductees. If I had to pick a year, this would be the year that I would want to be here. I'm truly humbled and honored in regards to that. But I must start by saying this. I have to apologize now. All right, I've been told it's kind of like a rock. One side I have like a semi-polished side, and the other side I have kind of like a rough side. So I don't know which side you guys are going to get tonight. All right, but so I'm going to apologize ahead of the game, but bear with me right here. First thing I want to do, I want to thank a few people. I definitely don't want to miss the opportunity to do that. Obviously, I want to thank God, number one. I've tried so many times in my life to mess this thing up, and he just keeps putting me right back on the right path. So I definitely want to say that. I want to thank my mom as a single mom raising me, and I promise you I was tough to handle, but she did that, and she loved me enough to let me know that I love you right now, but I don't like the person you are in this moment. And she said that to me, and when she said those kind of things to me, she hit me in the head. But she loved me enough to say that. Not physically, those words hit me in the head. She loved me enough to say that, and I definitely appreciate your mom for doing that. I want to thank my stepfather as well for being there later in my life, being a support system for my mom, so I can move across this world and chase my dreams. Thank you, John Wayne Thompson. And he is a black guy named John Wayne, so that's a little unusual. So, and my mother's name is Sylvia Thompson. I want to thank my cousin, Mark Oden, who was a 1988 graduate of Cleveland Heights as well. Didn't have any other brothers or sisters, but he was the closest thing to a brother to me. If he did it, I wanted to do it. All right, he played football, I'm playing football. He wrestled, I'm going to wrestle. If he wanted to be a swimmer, I would have attempted to be a swimmer. I'm most definitely glad that he did not do that. But my point in bringing that up is he chose a good group of friends. All right, he introduced me to those group of friends. They accepted me into their world, and he set the bar for me in regards to aligning myself with like-minded people. So I want to thank him for that. That is something I definitely don't want to miss on. I want to thank my wife, who has been with me since 2003. Since my mom passed me off to her, the burden and the buck has fallen on her to deal with me. She's been my rock for me. She's given up her dreams, put her on hold her dreams for me to chase my dreams and move around this country, chasing men around the football field. So I'm glad that she was able to do that. I want to thank my son, Jalen. Jalen, I love you. I'm so proud of you. I am honored to be your father. I'm proud to be your father. I am humbled to watch you grow as a young man. And I can't wait to watch the rest of your life, my man. All right. My daughter, Ryan Elena Oden, she's not here right now. I'm just as proud of her. She is a spark plug, and she is 10 years old, going on, I think when I left, she was going on 22. So she is something else. But I love her to death. She's a very inspirational person in my life as well. As I move on here, there's a couple people I want to recognize. John Snell back there, he's head coach of Baldwin Wallace. Now it's university, right? When I was there, it was Baldwin Wallace College, so that's changed. He has definitely touched my life. He's a person that not only talks the talk, but he walks the walk in his faith. He walks the walk and talks the talk, and how he addresses young people and how he leads them. Thank you. I remember going to your office. You remember you helped me. We had an American Football Coaches Association manual. All right, when I told him I was thinking about coaching and going to graduate school. We went through that manual. Each name, you say, okay, I know someone here, write him a letter. At the end of that day, there was 105 letters that I sent out to 105 different universities and colleges trying to look for a graduate assistantship. And since that day, I fooled a couple people to hire me, and you supported me through a whole bunch of wins and a whole bunch of losses and a whole bunch of address changes. So you are something else. So I definitely appreciate that. The committee, I definitely want to thank you guys. I'm super honored to be up here, and just the nomination, just a thought was enough for me. But to be up here standing and talk to you guys right now, and you guys listening, is something else for me. So I got about another 10 minutes here, then I'll get you out of here. I'm not laughing. I'm serious. No, I'm serious. All right. Let me get out of here. I definitely want to thank my closest and dearest friends, those that I loved then and those that I continue to love now. I appreciate your support over the years. That means the world to me, and it will mean the world going forward. There's another group of people back there I would like to acknowledge, the Hoon family. Some of you guys that have been around will know Coach Larry Hoon was my wrestling coach in high school. Mrs. Rhonda Hoon, his wife. He has a daughter and son, two sons, Adam and Alan and Erica Hoon. That was like my extended family. If it wasn't for that gentleman right there, who knows? Thank you, Coach, for teaching me accountability. Thank you for teaching me, and I might lose it here for a second, but thank you for teaching me accountability. I'll give you a quick story here and I'll bring it back. I promised myself I wouldn't do that, but that's how much you mean to me. Don't do that, make it worse, man. Y'all supposed to say, toughen up. That's what I'm used to. All right. Coach, you remember my accountability part is what I'll talk about here, is that I remember every year we had to have a contract with you, all right? And I still remember that contract. It was a handshake, it was a verbal, all right, and it was a look you in the eye. I promise not to use any mind-altering substances during the course of the year, and if I do, I'll let you know. I never will forget it. Accountability. You taught us that, and we lived it. Appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate you. Mrs. Hoon is just as strong as rock, but just as strong as rock as Coach Hoon. I appreciate you too. All right, I appreciate you too, and the rest of your family. Now, lighten this thing up here. Heights High, I tell you what, I wouldn't trade my high school experience for the world. No way. The things I learned at Heights, I still use it today. That was just one example. The diversity that was in Heights, the people I was able to interact with at Heights. I played golf, I played lacrosse, I played football, I wrestled, and that's not a testament to me, that's a testament to the things that were available to me, and a testament to the you can go clap for that, because that's real. That's real. All right? And that's also a testament to the comfort level and the diversity that I can do that and not be pushed away to do that. All right, that's a very, very important part. That's just as important part as the availability. And that was because of the Heights community and the faculty and the staff. So you guys are part of something special right here. All right. Now, I will just say this. I want two more messages, one to the students and one to the faculty. Students, I want you to take this with you. Excuse me. No matter where you come from, all right, no matter what your circumstances are, you determine who you are and who you become. All right. You control that. There's no excuses, no explanations. You control it. All right, you control that. You can become who you want to be. So become who you're supposed to be. All right. Now there's some steps along the way that you guys have to do that. And I need to do, I would say one thing, don't become complacent. All right, don't become complacent. Mediocrity. All right, now here's where the rough side may come out. So I apologize right now. So I tried to do a little research to sound somewhat educated right here. All right. Now it comes from a Latin word, I believe it's medio, which means middle. All right. The backside of that word is called, I believe it's called Acarus, all right, which means mountain. So you talk about middle, you talk about mountain. Mediocrity means you're in the middle of the mountain. You're halfway up. That means you haven't reached your goal just yet. All right. Do not let that happen. All right. Keep fighting. Keep chopping wood. At some point, the tree will have to fall. Unleash your best work daily. Listen to me. Unleash your best work daily, all right? That requires urgency, and that requires diligence, all right? That can be done by mapping it, making it, and meshing it. Mapping it is a vision. Got to have a vision, all right? Got to have a vision. Second thing is to make it. Make it is your work, is the progress, is what you do to get there, the steps you take, all right? You have to make it. And the mesh is the growth, all right? The mesh is the growth. Grow from your mistakes, grow from your successes, and grow from the success and failures of others, all right? Take the input. You never know enough. Keep chopping wood, all right? And I will say with this last thing to you guys is begin with an end in mind. Ask yourself along the way the things that you're doing, is this going to help me get to my end? All right? Not pull me back, but to push me forward. All right? You guys control your destiny. Keep chopping wood. All right? And to wrap this thing up here, and I'll get off because I know Mr. Sandman is calling my name right here, is to the administration, think one. All right? Just think one. Don't think one, don't think two, think one. What I mean by that is all it takes is one conversation. All right? It takes one lone comment. All right, it takes one person to change, all right, or to plant a seed in a student's life that would change for the rest of his life. All right, you guys make a difference. All right, and I will say this, Coach, you probably don't remember this. I was a freshman. We were in the wrestling room. Varsity was up here. JV was here, and I was a freshman, so I was way back here. All right, probably off the mat somewhere. But Coach walked by and said, "Oden, one day you may be all right." And those words right there hit me in the head. All right. And my whole attitude changed with everything. So thank you. Those one words, that's why I say one comment, one lone comment. So thank you, Coach, once again for that. So to wrap this thing up, die empty. Die empty. Don't leave anything in reserve. Pour it all out. Create a sense of urgency for yourselves, all right, and finish. Finish, all right? Begin with the end in mind. And Coach, you remember this, every day I walked in that weight room, not the weight room, the wrestling room, on the back of the wall, and I hope it's in the new facility, it said, "It is very easy to be ordinary, but it takes courage to excel." You remember that? And we must excel. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anya Chu. I'm a senior at Cleveland Heights High School, and I'll be attending the Ohio State University in the fall. Tonight, I have the distinct honor of introducing Mr. Burton Saltzman as a Heights Alumni Hall of Fame inductee. First, I'd like to thank him for taking the time to answer my questions, and more importantly, for his many accomplishments that allow me to present him to you tonight. Mr. Saltzman graduated with Cleveland Heights High School's class of 1995 and later went on to attend The Ohio State University, where he majored in accounting and was a member of the Reserve Officer Training Corps. He graduated in 1959. Mr. Saltzman's grandfather sold produce from door to door, and his father ran a small fruit and vegetable market in Cleveland on 33rd and Payne Avenue. Through hard work and dedication, that small market transformed into the original Dave's Market, where it still is today. Mr. Saltzman's commitment to Dave's led to his decision to open a second location on Harvard Avenue. Since then, he and his two sons have worked to open 14 Dave's locations total throughout the greater Cleveland area. What can be said about Mr. Saltzman is the dedication and heart that he has for both his business and the community he serves. He has supported many charitable causes, including the Jewish Federation of Cleveland, the Salvation Army, the Cleveland Food Bank, and more. Mr. Saltzman has also been inducted into the Grocers Hall of Fame, and in 2010 was named Man of the Year by the Jewish Relief Society. Mr. Saltzman is notable for his admirable work ethic and commitment and contribution to the community. It is the utmost honor to introduce him today. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Burton Saltzman. Congratulations.
First of all, I did not graduate in 1995. I got very old if I graduated in 1995. I don't know. But I want to congratulate Dale Cohen, a fellow classmate of mine. I really never became a doctor. Maybe my mother wanted me to become a doctor, but I never quite made it. It's kind of funny, when I walked in here, I was really kind of disappointed. I was looking around, and where are all my old teachers? I said, what the heck happened? But then again, I was an accountant, but I forgot years. I kind of got messed up. I'd like to thank the Heights High School Foundation and the Cleveland Heights University Heights City for awarding me with this honor tonight. I never imagined that when I walked down the aisle in 1955 with my classmates, that someday, 80 years later, I'd be 62 years later. I told you my math is not good. In fact, it's, excuse me, my math is, 62 years later that the same week that I turned 80, we're working on our 80th birthday party with my class. We're planning an 80th birthday party. And then I received notice that I was going to be inducted into the Cleveland Heights Hall of Fame. It was quite a week, and I was really humbled by it. Our class was really a great class. Many people have been outstanding in their life. I'm sure the education that we received at Heights had a lot to do with this outcome. I am very humble to have been part of this great class. My thanks to my parents, my family, my children, and above all, my wife, who has understood what I wanted in life and have stood by me for all these years. 58 years exactly. Many hundreds of people have worked with me, and I have seen so many kids come back years later after working for me, coming back, saying hi, with smiling faces, great families, and reminded me that their first job was working for me. To me, that means more than anything. Just remember, the future is what you make it, and that anything in the world is possible. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Paris Colbert, and I'm a current senior at Heights High. And I have the honor to introduce Dr. Annika Simpson. Despite her absence, the image makers deemed it appropriate to acknowledge her extensive accomplishments in her field and her dedication to her research. Dr. Annika Simpson became an alumni of Cleveland Heights High School with the class of '91. Since then, she has been on a clear path to success. From Cleveland Heights, she moved on to Spelman College, where she received her Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy in 1995. Her interest in philosophy was sparked by a political philosophy class that she took during her senior year at Heights High. In hopes to one day be able to provide the same rigorous and nurturing educational experience to students, Dr. Simpson completed her Master's of Education in 1996 at The Ohio State University. Although she originally planned to teach elementary school children, she missed studying philosophy. So she returned to school to further her education at the University of Memphis, where she received her master's and PhD in philosophy. In 2004, she joined the Department of Philosophy and Religious Studies at Morgan State University in Maryland, where she remains an associate professor for the past 13 years. While there, she established the university's Women's and Gender Studies program in 2009 and continues to work as the coordinator of the program. Dr. Simpson has dedicated her career to areas of academic study within the field of philosophy that are not often given significant recognition. She has based her research solely on Black feminism and African American philosophy. Her goal is to contribute to the rich historical legacy of Black feminism. However, Dr. Simpson goes beyond academia and actively works to transform her ideas into action. She has worked tirelessly as an advocate for racial equality, women's rights, LGBT rights, and the mission of historically Black universities. Although Dr. Simpson could not be here tonight, I feel she is representative of the dedicated and hardworking alumni to emerge from Heights High and a role model for current Heights students seeking to make a difference. And I know she is deeply honored to be able to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Hi, I am Angela Cowan. I am a junior at Heights High, and it is a great honor to present Stacy Smith, the class of '72. Stacy Smith was a United States ice dancing champion 3 years in a row in 1978, 1979, and 1980. Smith represented the USA in the 1980 Olympics as captain of the USA figure skating team. She was a world professional ice dancing champion the following year. After following her ice dancing dreams, Smith went on to academic success, first earning a bachelor's in art and history at Northwestern University, followed by an MD at Northwestern School of Medicine. Board certified in psychiatry and neurology, Smith's distinguished medical career includes successful practice, research, publication, and teaching. She also finds time to volunteer to provide mental health service to low-income seniors. It takes great perseverance to be able to be a part of the USA Olympic figure skating team and following her dreams and then going on to earn an MD in psychiatry and neurology. It goes to show that there is no limit to what a person can do or dream. Not only was she able to represent Cleveland Heights High School, but she also represented our wonderful country of the United States of America. It is without a doubt that her character has developed from Cleveland Heights High, from the staff, students, and experience that has taught her valuable lessons and helped her develop into the person she is today. Now it is my distinct honor to represent her into this Hall of Fame, and I hope to be there with her in the near future. Please represent Stacy Smith.
Lovely introduction. I appreciate it so much. I grew up in Cleveland Heights as one of 6 children, and at age 3, I received a pair of plastic strap-on double bladers in pale green. I learned to skate on Forest Hills Pond. My mother created an ice rink in our backyard. We had a hot water line installed for the cleaning and resurfacing of the ice. My grandmother set up a giant reel-to-reel tape recorder so I could hear music, always Brahms symphonies. I was struck by luck. A world-class skating instructor moved to Cleveland, and my mother, with 6 children at home, managed somehow to get me to the skating rink at 6 a.m. all through middle school. My coach was very tough. I feared him. He took me back to the drawing board, and he rebuilt my skating from the ground up. My parents were planning to move to Brecksville and had even looked at houses. But my father pulled into our driveway with a small sailboat instead. And we all learned to sail. That fateful purchase by my dad saved my brother, who had behavior problems. And it tethered us to Cleveland Heights and all that it offered. My parents did not baby us. We all walked to school every day. Noble Elementary, Monticello, Heights High, regardless of weather, and we walked to Cumberland Pool with no money for snacks. I took up waitressing at 15 at a French restaurant on Coventry, and I was serving alcohol underage. I was making $50 to $60 a night. Amazing. I used the money to pay for lessons and gas to get to the rink in my VW Bug. Waitressing proved to be wonderful training in its own right. Little did I know that I would end up in psychiatry. A few key highlights from school. Mrs. K in 3rd grade. She was tough too. She required us to clip out news clippings from the daily paper and come in ready to discuss them. This remains one of my many addictions. Diagramming sentences daily for 2 years at Monticello. Reading real books, my favorite then, Huck Finn, which I read 3 times that year. Best teachers, Mrs. Barnard in chemistry at Heights. Mr. Malman, physics, demanding both, and my entry into the real sciences. Outstanding teachers. Had my father not bought the boat, neither my skating nor my education would have unfolded as well, and my skating would have ended. The day I graduated from Heights High, I packed up my Bug and drove alone east. I would live and skate in several states, Hartford, Connecticut, Kent, Ohio, Cleveland again, and eventually Wilmington, Delaware, with a world-class coach, Ron Ludington, who made me a 3-time national champion in the ice dance event with my partner, John Summers. Wonderful practice for being married, I might add. We represented the United States in the 1980 Olympics in Lake Placid, the honor of a lifetime. The next day began a new chapter. I was 26, broke, and had a high school degree from Heights High. I retired from waitressing, an 11-year stint. Next, a return to Cleveland Heights, and fate intervened again. My first skating student in Cleveland insisted I meet the young Dr. Richard Katz, my date and husband, okay, also a classically trained pianist, and 37 years later, here we are. I had to reinvent myself, start college, then medical school with 2 children along the way, and then a 4-year psychiatric residency, a very, very long haul. My education at Heights High prepared me to get through the long and sometimes lonely years in skating. But parents who never spoiled us or ever pushed me, but teachers who expected ever more and believed I could deliver it. And a husband who refused to let me quit in the dark, early months of medical school. Thank you. Living in Cleveland Heights and Heights High was a great foundation, and I will forever be grateful for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening again. It is my pleasure to introduce this next Hall of Fame inductee, Toby Ciccolo. Since her graduation from Hikes in 1960, Toby has gone on to become one of the top female bridge players in the world. After attending Hikes, she attended Ohio State University and the University of Miami, where she pursued and obtained a BA in sociology and zoology in 1966. Extraordinarily, Toby didn't begin pursuing bridge until her early 30s. Early in her career as a bridge player, Toby was nominated to be included in the American Contract Bridge League in her first year of eligibility. This was only the beginning of the amazing legacy that she would have as a world bridge player. Throughout the duration of her career, Toby won 4 gold medals, 3 silver medals, and 3 bronze medals, competing in the Women's World Team Championship. In fact, with the gold medal that she received this past year, she has become the oldest woman in history to win a World Bridge Championship event. Her most impressive international accomplishment was winning the Women's World Master Individual in 2004, making her the only American, man or woman, to win a World Individual. Domestically, Ciccolo has won 19 North American Bridge Championships and finished second 14 times. In addition, someone has yet to top Toby's impressive record in the Women's U.S. Bridge Championship. She has won 7 times and finished second in only 3 occasions. Her greatest victory was in 2002, the Life Master pair, one of the 3 premier pair events of the American Contract Bridge League calendar. Impressively, she is the 8th woman to win in the event's 76-year history. As a result of her victory, she has been awarded the Fishbein Trophy. This summer, she was the most successful competitor, landing at number 1 out of 6,100 players. All in all, there are not many people who demonstrate the determination she demonstrates on a day-to-day basis. The accomplishments of this nominee makes her an appropriate nominee for induction into the 2017 Cleveland Heights High School Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, Ms. Ciccolo was unable to attend tonight, so I'll accept this award on her behalf.
Hello, again. I guess I didn't do it at the beginning, so I'll say it now. I'm Eric, once again, and I'm attending Howard University in the fall. But I digress. Latasha Commin Watts. Every story is different, and may I add the Latasha Commin Watts story is one that will amaze you. As an individual who has spent her life in the foster care system, her advocacy and support for the foster care system is incomparable. There are some people who walk the talk, and some people who talk the talk, and I can tell you, this woman, she walks the talk. She has wrote countless publications, some of which include articles in the Cleveland Plain Dealer, Maryland Social Worker, and the Cleveland Business. She even founded and is the executive director of her own organization, the Purple Project, which provides support to countless number of youth that may have not received it otherwise. She sits on numerous boards, including but not limited to Auto Reach and the Underground Railroad to Success. If you do not believe me on this woman's remarkable work, maybe you should recognize some of her achievements that were bestowed upon her. In 2010, she received a proclamation from Governor Ted Strickland, a county proclamation from Peter Lawson. In 2011, verbal recognition from Mayor Frank Jackson. Overall, there is no doubt in my mind why this woman stands before you in recognition of her decades of social service. Please give a hand to the sensational woman, Latasha Commin Watts.
I told him, I said, you know I'm a hugger, so bring it in, bring it in. Thank you so much. Every time I hear my bio is being read, I'm always amazed. I'm like, who is that lady? You know? And I have to always say it's you. You did this. You helped build a life, but I couldn't help build this life without my family. And that's one of the things. So I'm going to start off today and just tell you, every time I give a speech, it's always a song in my head. And until I finally get it out and tell you what it is, then it just disappears. So all while everybody's speaking and I'm listening, but in the back of my mind, what I'm hearing is Michael Jackson's Thriller. Don't know why, it's not October, but that's in my head right now. So it's gone now, it's gone. So thank you, but thank you. This is an amazing honor, and I've been honored across the country, including the White House, and it has just been one of the most amazing emails I've ever gotten. My family will tell you, they're sitting there. I probably ran around the house completely for a good, hour or so, happy to be acknowledged by my high school. Let me start off by saying I want to thank my family, and they're all right there in the big table. My husband, Jamel Watts, my great auntie, as feisty as she is, my sister, Angie, my best friends, they're right there. It's Naomi, Candace, Elena, my cousin, Deborah, and my niece, Robin, who is actually a senior at Heights High. All right. Robin Lynch. And last but not least, my lovely daughter, Ashley. So I want to thank them, because without them, I really couldn't be who I am today as well. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I usually do not write speeches, but for this, I decided to just tell you a little bit about my story. Don't cringe when you hear this, but I did not want to go to Cleveland Heights High School. I begged not to go to Cleveland Heights High School, and it's true. And the reason for that is because all of my friends in my old neighborhood I didn't want to leave behind. And the first time that I had to go to Heights, I literally wanted to be late to school the first day, and I attended Roxborough Middle School first. And I had this idea that I was not going to participate in anything. Needless to say, my very first year at Roxborough, I became vice president of student council. So go figure that. But I had a very rough start starting out. And coming from the foster care system is a very difficult system to be in. And you're not with your biological family, which I would like to say that is my biological family there. But you're not with your biological family, and you kind of lose your identity. And that happened to me while I was in Heights High School. Even though I was participating, I still felt very displaced while I was there. And it wasn't because the faculty and staff, it was me. I was not ready to be available and live life to the fullest. So most people don't know this about me. When I was in high school, I was going to drop out of the 9th and 10th and 11th grades. Angie probably knows this. But my grades were horrible. I was mentally tired and displaced and virtually cared about nothing. I really didn't. I didn't care about myself or anybody around me. I was rogue. I was 15, and by 15, a real-life alcoholic. For those of you who do not know, I'm blind in my left eye, and I'm burned over 35% of my body. And I tell you that not to feel sorry for me, but I was in school feeling sorry for myself, if you can understand that. So I would try to drink away all of my pain and all of my misery. Life was difficult for me, to say the least. However, I made it through, and I'll say that story for another time, because if anybody ever talked to me on the phone at all, I will hold you hostage for hours. So we will save that. We will save that one. But I actually, while I was there, I joined so many things. Even though I said I wouldn't, I joined gospel choir, and Mr. Tarter would stay on me. I mean, every day, I couldn't even walk down the hallway without him saying, come here. Okay, Mr. Tarter. Okay, so he really stayed on me and guided me. But if you remember, I said I was going to drop out of school 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. But by 11th grade, I didn't know what I was going to do. My grades were horrible. I didn't know where I was headed. And I took an African American poetry class. And I took that class with Miss Dolores Ballard. And I ran into her, by the way, and she, to this day, doesn't believe she had the influence on my life that she did. And we had to write a poem, and we had to grade it. She had to grade it, and I took forever writing this poem, and so she was fussing at me to turn it in, or I was gonna get an F. And I decided to go ahead and turn the poem in, and I'll never forget it. It was called Weak in My Knees. I actually still have the original copy at home. Don't ask how. That's the hoarder in me. So I actually Still have a copy, and I got an A+ on that poem. And she read it in front of the class, and one of the things she said to me, "You're an excellent writer. Can't you see all the potential that you have in you and yourself?" And by this time, I was eating 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th period lunch. I mean, I was really rogue. And so I sat there, and she says to me, she says, "You have to get your life together." She said, "It's more to you than what you think." She said, "Look at this, read this poem." And I never forget it. She said, "You can be somebody, you can do this. You're an excellent, excellent, excellent writer." And so then at that moment, it was life-changing for me. And for some people, that may seem kind of simple. Sorry, I promised I wasn't gonna cry. So for some people, that may be simple, but for someone like me who was struggling and that didn't have an identity, didn't know who her family was at the time, it meant a lot to me because it meant that somebody cared. And even though I didn't want to be, like I said, originally at Heights High, I loved Heights High after that moment. I embraced it. I joined everything. I joined Unity. I was making sure I didn't miss gospel choir. I was on the drill team. Do you guys still got a drill team, by the way? What? We're going to work that out. So I was on everything. And I pulled my grades up. And, you know, by the time, here you went from this DF student basically flunking out to actually 12th grade. By the time 12th grade, I was voted most likely to succeed and graduated a whole semester early. So figure that person. So at that moment, what I didn't understand, and now I'm going, and even winning most likely to succeed was almost laughable because I couldn't believe someone else, that I beat so many people out. And it was amazing to me. But it was because everyone else saw the potential in me, and I still didn't see the potential in myself during that time, even though I was doing well. But what I didn't understand, and I'm sorry, because I usually don't write speeches, so this is good because I never write speeches, so this is really important moment. So I'm going to pull it up because after you get a certain age, if you don't bring your readers with you, you guys will figure this out sooner or later. You're going to need them. So what I really want to say is that, but what I didn't understand was that despite my adversities, people saw more in me than I saw in myself. What I came to realize is that despite what was going on around me, and this is for you guys to know, was despite what's going on around you, every bad decision I was making was my own. And it didn't matter what happened to me. It didn't matter that I couldn't see. It didn't matter anything because in that moment, it was on me. And that was what I needed to do. And I needed to start living a life that was right for me. And that's what I started to do. Coming from foster care or coming from a bad environment doesn't mean that it's the end of the road for you. The choices that you personally make are your own despite your situation. Don't let negative in your life define who you are for the rest of your life. And I am truly grateful to God that He has taken me on this journey. Over the years, I've received countless awards, and I'm so proud to receive this one. And I want to leave you with something. Life is too short to worry about ridiculous things. Don't worry about other people's destiny. Live and walk in your truth. Walk in your passion, follow your journey, and live life abundantly. When I first started the Purple Project, people thought I was completely insane. I had no money, no office, nothing. And I stand here today having one of the greatest organizations, and I have an annual foster care youth conference every year, and it's one of the largest in the country. So when people tell you that you can't, keep going. That's your destiny. Live life abundantly, and don't just exist in this world. Live free and live happily. I thank you all. This is a great honor to be inducted into Cleveland Heights High School Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. And I wish you all the best, and thank you. This is one of the best honors that I've ever received. Thank you.
Good evening again. Tonight I have I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. Good evening again. It is my honor to introduce to you tonight Mrs. Iris Wolstein as a Heights Alumni Hall of Fame inductee. I'd like to thank her for all of the tremendous work that she's done for and in this city. Ms. Wolstein attended Hazeldale, Taylor, and Coventry elementary schools before attending Roosevelt Junior High. She culminated her Heights education at Cleveland Heights High School, where she graduated with the class of 1947. Following that, she attended The Ohio State University. Ms. Wolstein is well known for her philanthropic work and her work in real estate development. She and her husband's real estate projects have helped to play a major role in the revitalization and modern development of Cleveland. Today, she is the president of the Heritage Development Company, and in addition to running the firm, Ms. Wolstein is highly involved in philanthropy and in preserving her husband Bart's legacy. Mr. and Mrs. Wolstein have made a lasting impact on Cleveland. Together, they have donated more than $40 million to local hospitals, colleges, and various other centers. Notably, Ms. Wolstein was crucial in the development of Flats East Bank, a vision that her husband foresaw and one that she worked tirelessly to make a reality after her passing. There is no doubt that Ms. Wolstein is a highly distinguished and notable alum of Cleveland Heights High School. The progress that she has achieved and continues to achieve will have positive effects in Cleveland for years to come. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Iris Wolstein.
I am tremendously grateful for this honor. When I went to Heights High School, I never thought I'd be standing here with such an illustrious group of people receiving this honor. Fortunately for you all, I was not told that I was supposed to give a speech. So I'm going to let you go and let everybody know I am very grateful for this honor. Thank you.
Well, there's one more honor that we are to present tonight. But before I tell you about that honor and who will be awarded, I think that we certainly need to recognize the tremendous research efforts and exquisite writing and presentation skills of Eric, Anya, Krista, Paris, Angelique, and Benjamin. Nice work. Well, I would like to repeat what Iris Wolstein just stated, that this is truly an illustrious set of distinguished alumni in the Hall of Fame. And the additional award that we have tonight to add to the honor of becoming a distinguished alumni in the Hall of Fame is the 2017 Hillary Anker Award. And Hillary Anker was a Cleveland Heights High School student and image maker from 1986 until her untimely death from a rare lung disease in 1988. And she was remembered as a terrific person who was liked by all. She was quite talented, becoming principal clarinetist in the Heights Symphonic Winds. And as a humanitarian, she was involved in several volunteer activities in the community. A former teacher described Hillary as one of Heights High's shining stars. This award recognizes one of the inductees each year who represents a life well lived and in service to community. This year's Hillary Anchor designation goes to Burton Saltzman, class of 1955. Bert, you don't need to come up again, but allow me to say a few words about your service to community. Cleveland Seniors describes Bert Saltzman as a hard-working grocer with a heart of gold. A staff person from the original Dave's Market store, Jim Waite, said, "Bert is one of a kind. There'll never be another one like him. He helps so many people like Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, and hungry people in the area. He helps them all." When asked about his benevolent work, Bert becomes shy. "Sure, I like to give to these organizations and help whenever I can. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the fun of being in business." Thank you, Bert, for your commitment to community, family, and many Cleveland neighborhoods. And I love your Dave's Market. I go there all the time at Shaker Square. So this concludes our evening program. Thank you, all of you, for your attendance at this celebration of the Cleveland Heights High Alumni Hall of Fame. Good evening.